What's happening, people? Back with another reaction. Back with what is not, strictly speaking, a Tears for Fears reaction, but we are going to listen to a Tears for Fears cover by Gary Jules and Michael Andrews. Many of you will know this tune. I mentioned it when I reacted to the original Mad World, which is one of my favorites, and it's a tune from Tears for Fears, which I did remember, from my youth. I remember hearing it on the radio, and as I got a little older and thought about the lyrics, I realized, what a profound tune it is. And I came to think about, and as I mentioned in that reaction, the sort of contrast in that it's sort of this sad, almost like resigned tune, and yet the sonics of it are very frenetic and energetic and percussive, and it's like this genius contrast. And I was saying that, you might think, if you just read the lyrics on the page, that the music would be more like the Gary Jules version. So that's what we're going to listen to. Many people will know it, and I believe I first heard it as part of the soundtrack for the 2001 movie Donnie Darko. A cool movie, sort of like sci-fi, philosophical, and also, sort of compellingly acted by several people. So yeah, a cool movie, but again, it has this great soundtrack, a lot of which is sort of centered around 80s movie or 80s music, because it takes place in the 80s. But yeah, bottom line, the Gary Jules version of Mad World is in that film, and it's a much more sort of depressive and melancholic kind of tune. Now, I think there's a sublime beauty in that sort of melancholic sound. I don't think it's entirely like distraught or sort of, overcome with grief, but I do think it is lamentful. I do think it is, it's like, it feels like the sort of sentiment or emotional attitude of someone who recognizes the pain, the sort of anonymity, the sort of silent suffering that the tune speaks of, is aware of it, but recognizes sort of the futility, or at least the sort of, grave difficulty in fighting against it, and sort of like is willing to find still sort of the sublime beauty despite that sort of overwhelming and sort of melancholic feel. So it's weird. It has this sad sound to me, but within that sadness, it does feel like there's a sort of resigned beauty, like this, I accept what's happening, but I'm still going to enjoy the time I have. Is sort of the attitude that I get. So it's interesting. It feels in one way more appropriate, again, to the desperation and the pain and the sadness of the tune, but it somehow like makes it feel like there's sort of like one single ray of light that comes through it all, and that's sort of the sonics that we hear. So in any case, let's get to it. This is the Gary Jules version, sung by, again, I think it's Michael Andrews. Do I have that right? Yes, Michael Andrews, produced by Gary Jules. It was released as part of the soundtrack for the film Donnie Darko. So here we go.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had.
That line, I just can't get past it.
I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world.
Like ambient chords in the back.
Day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Sounds like a synth cello.
The way that every
And then you wake up and you're still in
People run
still in the mad world.
circles. It's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Enlarging your
The echo of that.
mad world.
It's beautiful. It is an absolutely beautiful version. All things considered, I still do think I prefer the original. I love the contrast of it, and again, I love Kurt singing, and so it is Kurt on that, right? Again, I think maybe I know a lot of their tunes they both sing, but it's been a while since I reacted to the one. I'm actually forgetting if I'm remembering that right. Regardless, in terms of the overall Sonics, I do enjoy this one a great deal, and like I said, it's sad, it's melancholic, but I feel like there's there's still a sort of a beauty in that tragedy. There's a sort of a beauty in the acknowledging, respecting what's happening, but somehow like mentally getting outside of that, even if it's only for that fleeting moment in your dreams. It seemed again like this golden ray of sunshine, and that's sort of the sonic sublimity of this tune. But yeah, bottom line, even so, I do think I prefer the original sonically. I just love that contrast. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you prefer this one. Let me know if you've seen the movie Donnie Darko. As I said, I'm pretty sure that's where I first heard this. But yeah, it's a really cool version. So shout out to Gary Jules, shout out to Michael Andrews, and once again, shout out to the one and only Tears for Fears, as well as all the awesome Tears for Fears people. I mentioned it before, there's a lot of cool fan bases that have become friends of the channel and started to comment over the last few months, and in some cases, commenting many times, like regularly on all the videos. I really do appreciate you. And Tears for Fears fans among all the different groups have always been some of the most positive and supportive and just encouraging me. I really like these videos, keep doing more of them. That means a lot to me when I hear that. So again, like Michael and Malcolm and Sarah and Kevin and all of you, I really do appreciate you, and other people, because every time I do this, then I realize like, oh, but I didn't mention him and her and him and her. So again, I probably shouldn't do that, because then again, I'm only going to mention like half the people who've been commenting. So I do apologize, but bottom line, I do appreciate you all, even if I didn't mention you by name. The reality is, my knowledge and appreciation of this group has grown as quickly as any of the others. So again, in recent times, I've been trying to balance everything, and I know there's only been like one Tears for Fears reaction every 2 or 3 days, but believe me, there will be plenty more Tears for Fears to come. I mention it as I get through Elemental. My next plan is to go on to Raoul and the Kings of Spain, so plenty more to come. Do let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time.